Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. I am here to highlight some of the great Steam PC game deals under $10 for the Black Friday deals that are running right now. Now, this sale is obviously a little bit interesting because it's not like one wave of gigantic deals and a gigantic sale rollout that Steam is doing. It's individual publishers really doing their own thing and putting out their own Black Friday sale. So, it's a little bit different in that regard, and there's going to be more deals rolling out, I would imagine, over the course of the next week. I would imagine a ton of publishers are going to put up Black Friday sales, just because it's a good opportunity to capitalize. And then all of these deals in this video are just going to be back for the winter sale, and maybe there will be a little bit of variance, and sometimes, not every sale is created equally, but I digress. I do have some deals under $10, as we've got Square Enix sales, Capcom sales, Tecmo Koei sales, and deals from some other publishers as well. So let's just get right into it, and let's start things off with Cassette Beasts, which is a game that I think is so underrated. It is 60% off for $7.99, and this is actually a historic low price for the game. Cassette Beasts is tremendous. I don't know what initially made me check this game out. I think I was looking at the time to play some games that were a little bit lower key, and I saw that it had an overwhelmingly positive reception, and I was like, okay, it has some resemblances to a Pokemon title. Let's check it out and let's see what it's all about. And Cassette Beasts enamored me pretty quickly. I think right off the bat, when you get into like the first town and you hear the soundtrack, my goodness, I think the soundtrack to Cassette Beasts was the standout element that initially drew me into the game, because I'm not gonna say like this game shouldn't have a soundtrack this good, because that would be a little weird to say, but it definitely overachieved in that regard. Like, I didn't think it needed a soundtrack that went this hard, but it's great in that regard. The throwback visual style is great, and mechanically, I think it's just a well-refined game. Definitely would recommend it, and for $7.99, I think it's a great price, especially if you like the Pokemon style of games. This will be right up your alley, so $7.99 for that. Next up, we got Digimon Survive, 84% off for $9.59. Obviously, there has been quite a lot of attention around Digimon right now over the release of Digimon Story Time Stranger, and that game is fantastic, but at the same time, that game is a whopping $70, and a lot of people are not going to be wanting to drop $70 on a Digimon game right now. Digimon Survive, on the other hand, is $9.59. However, with this game, you just have to know what you're getting yourself into. Some of you guys might be looking for a Pokemon-style experience. Cassette Beasts will offer you that, but Digimon Survive will not offer you that. This is a visual novel first and foremost, and then it does have a tactical RPG in there as well, but the tactical RPG, those battles and whatnot, it's a small portion of the game. Like, if I would to percentage it out, 70% of this game is a visual novel, and 30% of this game is battles, and honestly, that might be a little bit tame as far as that percentage breakdown, but I still really enjoyed this game, and narratively for a Digimon game, man, a little bit of a darker tone for a Digimon game, and I thought it was really well done in that regard. I think for $9.59, this is a great deal, and something that I would definitely recommend, again, if you know what you're getting yourself into. If you are wanting a narrative-heavy game, a Digimon game with a darker tone to it from a story standpoint, although, Time Stranger, I feel like, had a more mature story than a lot of people expected as far as the themes that game tackled, but Survive, definitely a worthwhile game. $9.59, again, a good price on that. Next up, y'all know I gotta give this a mention, a game that I glaze ad nauseum on this channel, honestly, to a ridiculous extent. We got Final Fantasy XIII. It is 60% off for $6.39. I love Final Fantasy XIII. I think it's an absolutely fantastic game, and I totally get why people have their issues with the game. Yes, is it linear for the majority of the game? Yeah, you might as well say for all of the game. I mean, Final Fantasy XIII, its first 20, 30 hours is a totally linear experience, and then towards the end of the game, yes, it does open up. Yes, it does offer some optional battles and things of that nature, but it is really late in the game when it does open up. But you know what? I don't think a linear experience is inherently that bad. I think the visuals in this game still hold up really good. I think the story, albeit a little bit nonsensical at times with the pulse C, foul C, all this terminology that is thrown at you, I still think it's engaging. I like the characters in the game. I love the battle system, the paradigm shifts and whatnot. I thought that was really well done. And it's one of those games that I've completed so many times at this point. I want to say I've beaten this game 3 or 4 times, and I've started several playthroughs that I didn't end up finishing. And it's a game that honestly is in that category of games for me that I'm going to continue to play through over and over again for the rest of my life. It is in that category. And I'm not saying it's going to be that level of a game for all of you guys, but I think it's a worthwhile game to give a shot to. I really enjoyed it, and I just remember when it came out, man, it was such a divisive game back in 2010. But I think, you know, from the standpoint of people looking back, going back and playing, and more often than not, I see a lot of people end up enjoying it. So I would give it a shout, especially at this price point, $639. That is quite good. Next up, we have Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, 67% off for $9.89. This was a game that on the DS was quite a big game. The classic puzzle-solving mystery adventure directed by Ace Attorney creator Shu Takumi is back. The long-awaited HD remaster features upgraded visuals and sound and new gallery content as well. Very much a story-driven game. A lot of mystery in there as well. Using the powers of the dead, you can possess and manipulate objects and even rewind time as you work to solve brain-teasing puzzles in a story chock full of quirky humor and charming characters as well. $9.89 on this. Overwhelmingly positive reception. 1,796 reviews. 97% positive there. And from Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, might as well give a shout to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy as well. One of the more iconic franchises from Capcom, and has really become, you know, a memeable game with objection and whatnot, but I'm into my narrative-driven visual novels with mystery, so games like this are up my alley, but you gotta know what you're getting yourself into, much like Ghost Trick. This isn't a game that's got action-oriented gameplay. You are very much getting into this for the storytelling, and, you know, the portraits and the character animations, I think that looks good, the character design, I should say, but again, it's a text-driven adventure, it's a visual novel, and if you're into that type of experience, it's an essential game in that category. 9,100 reviews on this, 97% positive, so a worthwhile pickup there. $9.89 on that. Next up, we got Troubleshooter Abandoned Children, 70% off for $7.49. You know, this... People want to talk about hidden gems. I feel like Troubleshooter Abandoned Children is exactly that. I think that term is a little bit overused, that like every game is a hidden gem, but this is one that truly not a lot of people know about. It is very much in the vein of like an XCOM style tactics title with a really, really great set of characters in terms of character art style. Like, it's got that anime aesthetic going on for it, and I thought the characters were really likable. Not gonna say the story is this overwhelmingly engaging story, but I think overall from a gameplay standpoint, it is worthwhile. Visuals are quite nice, and again, I think the character designs and how they do the art direction in the game is fantastic. For $7.49, a worthwhile pickup there. There is some DLC for the game that you can get with the story collection bundle for $9.43, and then they do have a sequel in development, so how about that? Pretty good stuff. That's, I believe they said that's not going to come out for a while, so don't be expecting that for a while, but yeah, $7.49 on this. Again, I would put this game in the true hidden gem category that a lot of people don't know about, but given the style of game that it is, I think a lot of people would get super into it if they knew it existed, but yeah, $7.49 on that. Next up, we do have Okami HD, 50% off for $9.99. You know, great time to play Okami, given that Okami 2 is in development. Now, bear in mind, I don't think Okami 2 is coming out anytime in the near future. I would probably say 2028, 2029 around the earliest, but I will say, man, when the Video Game Awards show happened last year, Okami 2 was an announcement that literally gave me chills, and, you know, that might be, that's so corny to say, and I feel like that's very cringe to say as well. People are gonna be like, oh, what a loser here, but it's just like, dude, I grew up with Okami, and just it being one of the revered games on the PlayStation 2, and I'm not saying I grew up loving Okami, but Okami was one of those games that, you know, growing up, I would get Game Informer, and you would just read online the early days, and people would talk about the best games out, and Okami was always that revered game. It became a greatest hits title, so on and so forth. When I finally did play it, I was blown away by it. I thought the art style was fantastic, gave me vibes of like a Zelda Wind Waker, and I still think it holds up really, really well. I even played Okami then on Nintendo DS, and I like that as well, but really happy that Okami 2 is coming to fruition, and I think this day and age in gaming, that game is going to crush it. Everybody online is going to be talking about it. I think the gaming landscape of what games are successful has shifted so much that Okami 2 is going to do incredibly well. But yeah, if you haven't played Okami, the original, 50% off for $9.99, I think it's a great buy. It holds up quite well. And, you know, it's legitimately considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time. And think about the incredible library that the PlayStation 2 has. If you look up the best PlayStation 2 games of all time, Okami is always in the mix among the top 5, at the very least the top 10. The PS2's library is just so crazy that, like, sometimes Okami does fall out of the top 5 with SOTC, Metal Gear Solid 3, the Pro Skater games. Like, there's a lot of competition on the PS2, but yeah, Okami HD is a great one, and Okami in general, but $9.99 for that, definitely worthwhile to check that out. Next up, we have Remnant from the Ashes, 80% off for $7.99. The complete edition with the DLC is just over $10 at $10.03. So, like, you know, if you want to get the complete edition with the DLC and you want to be a little bit spicy and spend a little bit over $10, you know, that's one to check out as well. Not really my cup of tea, but my boys are so into Remnant. One of my buddies that's just the biggest hardcore Souls-like guy I know. Like, he plays everything that comes out when it's a Souls-like title. Loves Remnant. He loved Remnant 1, he loved Remnant 2, and Remnant 3 I do believe is in development, and I like the vibe of Remnant. You know, it's a little bit different being a third-person shooter, action-oriented game that does set it apart from the other Souls-like titles, and I feel like Gunfire Games is a pretty good one to work with here, but $7.99 on that, pretty good deal, and $10.03 for the complete edition. Next up, we do have DAEMON X MACHINA, 80% off for $9.99. You guys know me, I love me gigantic robot action, and DAEMON X MACHINA does offer that, albeit it offers that at a mid-level, in the sense that this is not a blowaway game. It's a fine game. It's a serviceable game. It was initially a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and then it got ported to PC as well. And recently, we did have another DAEMON X MACHINA game come out, Titanic Scion, and that game was okay. Definitely not $70 good. Like, let's relax there, buddy. But, you know, this for $9.99 I do think is pretty good. Look, again, I love me my mechs. I love me gigantic robo action. Armored Core is definitely the standard bearer, I feel, right now for recently released action mecha titles, but that game's still pretty pricey. DAEMON X MACHINA is a solid one. For $9.99, I think it's a pretty good shout. Next up, we got Remember Me, 80% off for $5.99. Now, this game was actually done by Don't Nod Entertainment. Yes, that Don't Nod. That also did Life is Strange, they did Vampire, so on and so forth. And I don't know why, but in the era of, like, the early 2010s, and even going into now, for some reason, there were I was playing, like, every game that would come out. I would say that in this era of gaming, I was playing even more games than I do now when I'm literally, you know, making videos on YouTube. It's just, like, I would play the Remember Me's, the Murdered Soul Suspects, like, all of these just low-key games. They came out at, like, $50, $60. For some reason, I was like, yeah, dude, I gotta play this. And Remember Me, I remember, like, finding it incredibly compelling from a setting standpoint. I thought that was really cool. I remember the gameplay being fairly janky. For $5.99, I think it'd be a pretty decent pickup. Just remember, it's of that era of the early 2010s where there were these middling games just coming out. And again, I was playing a lot of them, but they are certainly not like, if you paid $50, $60 for this, you'd be like, bro, I just got ripped off. But it's $5.99, and if you like that sci-fi setting, I think you'll end up having a pretty decent time with it. 4,800 reviews on this, 80% positive, so check that out. Next up, we have Final Fantasy IV, the 3D remake, and I know people hate the 3D remake of Final Fantasy IV, but you know who doesn't hate the 3D remake of Final Fantasy IV? Your boy. Now, your boy played Final Fantasy IV, as the 3D remake. Like, this was my first foray of getting really into Final Fantasy IV. I played it on the Nintendo DS. This is a port of that version of the game. I believe it also got ported to mobile, and this is a port of the mobile version. Final Fantasy IV is outstanding. Obviously, with this 3D remake, if you're not super into the art style and whatnot, probably not gonna be your cup of tea, but I really dug it. You know, some people will say, check out the Pixel Remaster, and if you want to check out the Pixel Remaster, more power to you. I think the 3D remake is solid for for what it is, and I still think it's a worthwhile pickup. FF4 is generally considered to be the best. Like, generally people go with 7, 9, 6, 4. Like, those are generally the 4 best Final Fantasy games. You know, for most people, you know, your boy has like a 13 high up the list. Your boy has 16 high up the list. So I gotta be a contrarian, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, FF4 3D remake, $7.99 on that. Next up, we have Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends Definitive Edition. Yeah, it's a Dynasty Warriors game, over-the-top action mayhem. I really dug Dynasty Warriors Origins this year, but I ain't gonna be telling any of you guys to spend $52 and I think it's 50 cents for that game. Like, come on, man. Well, nobody got the money to pay for that, but I mean, Dynasty Warriors is always a pretty good time. If you want a game where you can kind of just mentally check out and get into some fast-paced, over-the-top action, tons of enemies on screen, you'll have a pretty good time with these games. I feel like at this point, you know if you can get into the Musou-style games, and I always find them to be a pretty good time. Not a, you know, maybe not $70 all the time, but Origins was really good, and I would say when that game came out, you know, I wouldn't hate people for spending 60, 70 bucks on it, but, you know, 10 months after release, it's still being $52.50. I just think that's crazy for any game, but, nonetheless, Dynasty Warriors 7, $6 on that. Devil May Cry 5, 67% off for $9.89. Now, if you do want to play this game, I would recommend you to pick up the Humble Bundle that is running right now. That's probably the best route to go, but, you know, otherwise, if you want to buy it directly from Steam, DMC5 is great. Capcom gotta be doing more with Devil May Cry. I don't understand how some of these publishers have IPs like Devil May Cry and Nier and just keep them benched for all these years. You know, there's one argument to be made when Okami maybe didn't crush it from a commercial standpoint and Capcom benched that franchise for years and years and years, and it took all these years to finally get a sequel. Devil May Cry, on the other hand, DMC5 crushed it commercially, critically. If nothing else, can I get a DMC1 remake? Thank you, but you know, I get there's stuff going on. I don't know, maybe they just don't want to do it. Maybe they see the franchise as concluded. I'm sure they'll get back to it at some point, whether it be a remake or DMC6. I digress. DMC5 is awesome. Soundtrack is great. Devil Trigger is legitimately a goated battle theme for anything. It's Rules of Nature tier. Like, it is that good, but yeah, $9.99 on that. Good deal there. $9.89 actually. 10 cents. It goes a long way. But yeah, heavy discount on that. And then lastly, I want to give a shout to Dungeons of Hinterberg. That is 66% off for $7.81. It's got a little bit of buzz when it initially came out. It was an Xbox Game Pass title, and I think a lot of people played it on that. It's one that I still got to check out for myself, but a gorgeous, gorgeous art style. To me, this comes across as a game that is more of that relaxing, kind of serene experience. Welcome to Hinterberg, a new tourist hotspot in the idyllic Austrian Alps. As Luisa, you escape from the treadmill of corporate life to go on a dungeon exploring vacation. However, you soon discover that not everything is as it seems. Will you restore peace to this once serene alpine paradise, or be sent straight back to your humdrum life back home? An 80 on Metacritic as well. That is available for $7.81. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available on Steam right now. Check them all out. Links in the description box below. All of these under $10, and you might notice that there aren't deals under $5. Well, that's going to be a separate video. You know, I gotta drip feed the content to you guys. This channel's barren, and sometimes these deals videos are all your boys got. But seriously, appreciate all of the support and appreciate you guys checking out the videos recently. The Black Friday deals videos have been doing quite well, and I know it's not really a publicized sale, but each publisher is going to come to the table with their own deals, and then if you don't pick anything up, don't worry. Our friends at GMG are going to be running deals. Fanatical's going to be running deals. There's going to be a lot of stuff for you to pick up. So build up those libraries before the Steam machine comes out. And once that Steam machine comes out, you guys pick that up, you know, Half-Life 3, and you'll have a bunch of other games ready to go. You know what I'm saying? But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.